Hey, it's Doug and Mike, Vomiting Rainbows.
And one day we're going to learn the name of the podcast. This is episode 6, where we talk about two missing women, 2 shot women, and then 1 shot firefighter.
That's
so
right.
It's a very uplifting podcast this time.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. A few murders and a few disappearing people. So listen, episode 6, Vomiting Rainbows. Blah!
last time we had a huge milestone with Vomiting Rainbows because we had a guest.
We did have a guest, and I thought you were just going to say because we did another one. Like, I mean, every I think when you're early on in the podcast, life, every podcast that you finish is kind of a major milestone, right?
It's a huge milestone. but that one was particularly special just because we did have, it was so great for Eric to join us on that one.
Yeah, it was cool.
But this time we have another milestone in which we actually got mail.
Well, feedback.
Feedback.
Oh, my goodness.
Which, I mean, obviously we live on feedback, and we've been dying to get some feedback.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd pick out 2 of my favorite feedbacks.
Awesome.
I think the most important feedback, of course, you know me, I like to dwell on the positive.
Of course. Yeah. You're such a bright and cheery guy, Doug.
I am a bright and cheery guy. So one was from someone named Katie.
Okay.
And Katie said she stumbled across our podcast, and now she feels like a major creeper because she can't stop listening to it.
Ooh, that is kind of creepy.
I think it's kind of awesome.
I mean, that's kind of creepily awesome. Creepy in a great way.
Right.
Would it even be creepier or cooler is to tell your friends and play it for your friends so they'll keep listening.
Yeah, and then we start, the viral effect.
That's right.
Keep going. So
and the viral effect, that things happen. That's how things happen, right?
Yeah, and so then we got. I don't know if she even listened to our podcast, but she definitely DM'd me on Twitter, and she.
Who's this from?
This is from this girl 45_Ingram, Ingram.
Okay.
And she basically said, "Welcome," and I was like, "Oh, this is great.
Yeah,
that's awesome." And maybe she's going to listen to our podcast. Then she immediately told us to suck a D and never mind. So apparently now we're no longer welcome.
Yeah, sometimes like what the DMs on the Twitters and the Instagrams or like the Insta follows, like you don't know if that's a real person. Because I noticed as soon as Facebook bought Instagram, a lot of Russian models started following me and soliciting me, and I'm like, wow, this is fascinating.
but the really weird thing was, then I told her, hey, I'm not a bot.
Yeah,
why don't you check out our podcast?
Yeah,
and she said, stop acting stupid, and then she asked me what contest, and I was like, I said no, that she would make great content for tonight.
Yeah.
And then she said we made no sense, or I made no sense.
Yes.
So,
well, sometimes if you make no sense, other people that make sense make no sense to you because you make so little sense. If you follow me.
Yeah. And then she said she was going to, what's IMA?
IMA?
Yeah. What's that?
Like I'm gonna get you.
Yeah, I guess maybe I'm gonna kick your ass or something.
Yeah.
And then she said she's gonna fuck us up.
There you go.
So
we got threats. We got
threats.
Yeah, this is exciting, man.
But the best part of all of that, the reason that I went lower in this is because while she was doing this, she also publicly tweeted, "Heart, choose kindness. Heart, it helps the world."
Well, that's a great thing about the internet, right? You can have multiple facades on your personality,
Right.
So maybe she's just trying to be a troll. Like she's actually a nice person, but she's just trying to troll us. I mean,
I don't know.
But we're getting feedback and we're getting a reaction.
Feedback. Hopefully, she'll listen to this version of the podcast, and then maybe she'll come back and be more.
Well, yeah, I have found that when you talk about people, they tend to get way more into something.
All right.
So what's her name? 45_.
Her name is Meredith Ingram, and it's
Meredith.
But her Twitter handle is 45_Ingram.
Right on. Well, Meredith, hope you're listening, and hopefully you're yelling at your speakers right now.
Right, hopefully,
whatever.
So hopefully she'll start choosing kindness.
Yes, choosing kindness and love. Awesome.
Right. As Ringo Starr would say, peace and love.
Yeah, peace and love, man. Crazy.
Yeah. So anyway, if you haven't listened to this podcast before, this podcast premise is that I pick a bunch of stories and then I read them to Mike.
Yep, and I react to them. I am always shocked at what Doug brings, but it's always a lot of fun. And we talk about, a lot of current events, things that are happening in the news that maybe the mainstream news isn't covering.
Exactly.
So we're having a lot of fun. We hope you have fun listening. And if not, if you really, really don't like the podcast, keep your opinion to yourself.
Or no, write us and then don't listen. We're totally apt to hear negative feedback.
Yeah.
Anyway, regardless, so why don't we just jump right into the first story, which is this guy, Kylr Yust. And he is this, what I would say is an unequivocal shitbag, and definitely, pretty 99% sure a murderer.
Now, when you call someone an unequivocal shitbag, do you have to add things onto that? I mean, is it?
No,
it kind of covers everything, right?
I think it does.
Yeah.
So this guy, he was last seen, and I guess was going out with this girl, Jessica Runions. And
where did this take place, Doug?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I'm always asking the tough questions, man.
Yeah, it's Kansas City.
Okay.
So somewhere in the vicinity of Kansas City.
Okay.
And Missouri.
Yep.
Just in case anyone is unsure. So he was with this girl. She's 21. He's 27. Nothing scandalous there. But he was caught knowingly burning her vehicle. Yeah. That's usually a telltale sign.
Yeah, that's a telltale sign that you're trying to destroy criminal evidence.
Yeah, he said he knew nothing about her disappearance.
Now, did they break up? And that's why he was like mad? Like, he's like, I'm going to burn your car. So people do crazy things if they've been going out for a while and then there's a bad breakup. Like, you always hear those stories about people smashing in windshields. And,
oh, yeah.
So you can see a destruction of property like this if maybe like she cheated on him and he's like, he's a loose cannon and he's like, I'm burning the car. But that's not necessarily the case.
No, I think that was kind of the case.
Okay.
Like, she was probably pulling away.
Yeah.
Or saw the writing on the wall. Now, I don't know how you don't see the writing on the wall when this guy was also a high-profile suspect in someone else's disappearance, which we'll go into later.
Yeah. When that's like what your new boyfriend's known for, like, oh, you're going out with Tommy. Wasn't that the guy that was a suspect in the disappearance of his last girlfriend?
Right.
No, it's amazing. It always amazes me that criminals or are just like you're saying, like just jerks, like they just keep getting a victim. Like you think people would, I don't know, man. I think they must have some type of charisma or some type of magnetism that just draws a certain type of person to them. But that always amazes me. Like if a guy's reputation for beating women, you would think that reputation would get around and like no women would date the guy. But that normally doesn't happen. It's strange.
Well, and the other thing too is like there is that whole bad boy type thing.
Yeah,
and
I never understood that.
Yeah, well, you've been with your high school sweetheart.
That's true. Yeah,
but even before that, you probably weren't like, oh, I got to get out there and meet like a really bad girl, like someone who.
I had my share of bad girls.
Did you?
But yeah. But I remember there was the Bad Boy Club. There was a clothing line.
Right.
That I thought was kind of silly. I mean, I never owned one of those shirts. I was never part of the Bad Boy Club. I always thought that people that wore those Bad Boy Club shirts, they weren't really that bad at all.
No.
They were normally just guys trying to be bad and kind of looking silly wearing that shirt.
Right.
But,
I can't put my head around. I think it's this motherly, I'm going to fix them type aspect.
Yeah.
Or like a nature or a nurturing type kind of thing.
Yeah.
With certain women that really see that person. They're like, oh, he's broken.
Yeah.
I'm the person to fix him.
And then you end up disappeared and your car is getting burnt.
Exactly. So, so she went missing on September 8th. And she was driving. The last person that she was seen with was this guy after a party. And after that, she was never seen again. So I mean,
and this is like the second time this has happened to one of his girlfriends.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like.
Yeah. It's
not looking good.
No. So her his Kara went disappearing in 2007. She was 17. And just a little before this, before she went missing in May of 2007. In April, she put a restraining order against him and said that he had choked her and was thumping on her. So I guess beating.
Yeah. This is the current girl that got disappeared, or the first girl?
The first one.
The first one. Jeez.
Yeah. So really, and this was big news. So they have been looking for this other girl since then.
Yeah, of
and
course.
There's like a $90,000 reward to try and find information.
And the rumor on the street is that this guy made her disappear, and that's kind of like everyone knows, but there's no proof. Is that kind of the vibe?
Correct. And then the other thing is he had a girlfriend, like another long-term or semi-long-term girlfriend.
Yeah.
Before, like in between these two girls, and that girl also said that he had choked her.
I mean, this is why it's important to have a conversation with you're getting a relationship with someone. I mean, I know it's kind of an awkward conversation to have, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is, like you said, I've been with my wife forever,
right.
But I remember when we got together, we kind of talked about all our exes and, kind of like what was going on. I had a couple crazy exes that had some stalker potential. So I was just like, hey, listen.
I think we should go into that a little more.
I was just like, hey, if some crazy chick runs up and starts like hitting me in the back of the head, like duck and run. You know what I mean?
Call
my,
because she's trouble.
Yeah, but my thing is like, I mean, do people still do that? I mean, nowadays dating's so different. It's just like swipe right, swipe left. Like, do people even care about the background? I mean, like, am I that old fashioned, Doug? I mean,
no.
if I'm gonna date, especially if I was a girl, I'd be like, so, like, what were your exes like? Why did you break up? Like,
exactly.
And then maybe even try to find one of the exes and just because we're not like, it's not like high school, we're adults. You could be like, hey, dude, like, I'm dating your ex-boyfriend, like, is there anything I should know? And you can probably tell if the chick is like, oh, he's a jerk and da-da-da, or hey man, stay away from that guy. You know what I mean? I think chicks are pretty honest, like that guy beat me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I mean, if you're gonna invest time in someone that's not on Match.com or whatever,
right,
do some research, right?
Yeah. And
I feel like an old man, Doug. I feel like I'm a 90-year-old man talking, but I mean,
do you think it's like almost to the point now where you should be doing like a background check on someone? Or
I mean, I would at least have a buddy do that, or at least let it be. If I was a girl, I would at least, and I met a guy, I would let them know that I knew violent people. Like I would, you know what I mean? Like maybe that's why I would know some bad boys, because I would make it very like I would have some pictures laying around. Like, who's that? Oh, that's my good friend Justin.
He's a mixed martial artist.
Yeah,
and he's got like 12 black belts.
Yeah, and is just looking for a reason to go to prison. You know what I mean? Like whatever, just let it be. Or I got some crazy brothers. Yeah. I remember one time I had a boyfriend once, and he pushed me, and they broke both his arms and threw him over a bridge.
Yeah,
like just let it be known, like don't mess with me.
Yeah, I agree. I do feel like you should do some sort of research, but I feel like you get the. You
have a vibe, right?
Yeah, but you get a vibe.
Yeah.
And then also you probably, I think everyone now in the day and age of technology Googles.
Yeah, goes on Facebook and like, this guy's like, all his ex-girlfriend's pictures are like blacked out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah, I mean, I read about, so there's Missing Persons of America as a website the heavy link to, who had the article about Yust, and man, they are brutal to this guy. Like they said there's very few times that they get this vocal about something, but this one it like kind of touched deeply because he, I guess when he, after this first girl went missing, he's also a suspect by the local SPCA or whatever animal protection group. He killed 3 cats.
Jesus, man.
Yeah.
That's I mean, I've read a lot of true crime. That's like one of the telltale signs of like, a sociopathic psycho dude. Like they start with cats or whatever, and then they move on to people. I mean,
Yeah, well, he was stated with this in this one incident where the girl reported him for domestic abuse. This is, remember, so there's the girl who went missing in 2007, and then there's the one that just went missing.
Yeah, but there's been girls in between.
In 2010, he was arrested, and they haven't named this person, obviously, because but he said to her, first of all, he's the one, he killed her cats. Because,
oh my God,
yeah, that's a bad, and that's why she got the restraining order.
Jesus.
But he said to her, "I've killed before, even ex-girlfriends, out of sheer jealousy, and I will kill you."
Wow. Yeah. See, I mean, this is the thing: is that I think, I believe that people can make mistakes. I believe that people can be rehabilitated. I believe in those things, but I also believe that, like, if you hit women and you're violent toward women, like, you should have to wear like a mark, like maybe a scarlet letter, maybe like a branding on the forehead, something like I think it should be known. Like, if you beat women, you beat kids, you mess with children, you use your power like in those ways, like, it should be known, not just for other women, just for other dudes, because like you said, I mean, you're like a different type of human being, not just man. You're a different type of human being, and people should be warned that you're an asshole. You know what I mean? Like, and I, it's like I know some tough guys are like, oh yeah, like they're physical people. You know what I mean? But even like the toughest guys I know, like, there's a line you don't cross,
Right.
and like, to beat and threaten a woman, especially if it's your girlfriend, a woman that you care about. I mean, I can see hitting a woman if she's like attacking you with a knife in self-defense or whatever, but to use your strength to manipulate and control somebody like that. I mean, you may think you're a big bad man, but I mean, like to any real man or any decent person, like, your issues are so obvious, and you're so, like, it's such a twisted way to look and live and treat people that it's like there should be a warning sign. I mean, I really feel that way. Like, it's like I just don't. I got no tolerance for it and no respect for it. It upsets me.
Yeah, I totally agree. But
I mean, listen,
like
we talked about that football player that
Right.
punched a 70-year-old guy.
Yeah.
I have more respect for a man that punches a 70-year-old man than like a dude who beats on a woman or a child. It's like there's like
there's no comparison.
Yeah,
but at the same point, along the same lines, is thinking about like small animals. Like when
it's even I mean,
when they get when you break up with somebody and they go after like your hamster and kill it or something like that.
Yeah, that's a whole different level of insanity. It's one thing to burn like your love letters and your pictures
Right.
and your record collection and maybe spray paint like you suck on their car. Like, what? Like, that's all still pretty extreme. But yeah, to go kill her pets.
Yeah.
I mean, that's scary. Like, that is a scary dude. And that's the kind of guy, like this is the thing. All of a sudden I start dating that chick.
Right.
Who I want to know about her ex-boyfriend. I want, like, what do you mean you're the boyfriend you just broke up with came into your house and killed your cats? I need to know that.
Right.
And she better tell me that.
Yeah.
Because that's just not like, it's not like, oh yeah, and he gave me crabs. Like, I can live with that. But the fact that guy might kill my pets, I need to know that you just broke up with a major class 1 psychopath.
Right.
Because I might end up with a bat against my head.
Right. And so I think that the other thing as well is, so he apparently had a valid alibi for the time, and also
he probably had a bunch of his other chick beating friends going, oh yeah, we were at a party beating each other up.
and the other thing is he has like a Facebook page. He had to shut one down.
Yeah.
Then he also went to jail. He went to jail on a drug charge. So he was importing designer drugs or whatever, unrelated. But
that's how he's pulling these chicks.
Yeah,
that's how it is, right?
Quite possibly.
Yeah, because no sane woman would hang around a guy like this at all. It's got to be drugs.
And then when he was sentenced for drugs, the judge said, "Do you have anything to say before your final sentencing?"
Yeah,
and he said, "Eat a steak and enjoy it for me," or something like that.
Well, I mean, I'd be like, oh, I will, thanks.
Yeah. But
so he's a little, obviously this guy has an attitude. I mean, Jesus.
He has a huge attitude. he was obviously a ticking time bomb, and he had used that same line of with the girl that just disappeared. He said the same thing to her, and her mother was very concerned.
Yeah, of course.
He said, "I've killed people before, and I know." And he used this line with the girl in 2007, the girl in 2010, and same with the girl who just went missing.
Yeah,
which was, I know he knew of pigs that would eat anything, including bones.
Yeah, see, I don't know. Like I said, Doug. I mean, I feel like an old man because I've been with my wife for so long, but I'm pretty sure. Even I know it was true when I was dating, but even I would assume now those aren't the kind of lines you throw at a chick to impress her and to kind of make her feel good about
No.
you. Like that's not getting you laid, dude.
No.
Like that's you know what I mean. Like that's no game right there. Like I've killed people. I could throw you in my pig pit. Like that's not very romantic. Number one. Number two, like. I don't know. I mean, is it against the law to tell people that you've killed people if you haven't? I mean, it's probably not a good idea because, if I sat around and was confronted by someone and all they did was tell me how they've killed all these people, I may do some investigation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, this guy. So apparently, in his background, he stated so. He's also in that same category of I have a reason for why I'm so broken.
Whoa! Let me guess. Slow down. Let's see.
Is this investigator Mike?
Well, I'm thinking reason so broken. I'm trying to think of there's Eminem broken. There's
right.
Papa Roach broken. There's
right.
Limp Bizkit broken.
Right.
There's all that kind of like bad new metal broken. Man. It's got to be something completely ridiculous though.
And by the way, we should definitely touch on that Papa Roach story.
I love those guys. I know those guys. But yeah, I mean, broken homes, man.
Yeah. So in court documents, he said that he was sexually abused as a child and diagnosed from that to have PTSD from the abuse.
That's understandable. I get that, but that doesn't give you the right. And listen, that's horrific and justice should be served on your behalf, and there should be therapy, and there should be all kinds of things going on there. But even if something horrible happens to you, and listen, if you're listening to this, you have to remember this. Even if the worst things happen to you, that doesn't justify and give you the right to go on a killing spree and just murder people and do whatever you want to do in life. No. It just doesn't work that way.
You know what it does get you? The right to go out and see a therapist.
Yeah, exactly.
Sit down with the therapist, talk to them, and talk about the issues, but do not.
Get some help.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is the problem is that, in life, horrible things happen to really great people. Horrible things happen to innocent people, like these girls who may have been disappeared and murdered by this guy. But people also want to help. You know what I mean? So if there's a traumatic situation, if something horrible happens to you, you can reach out to people and they can help you.
Right.
Especially nowadays. I mean, there's all kinds of things that they can do.
Right. So he also used cocaine by the time he was 14.
Well, who hasn't? Doesn't mean you can go kill people.
And at 16, he was using heroin. So, he was definitely on a downward trajectory.
Sure. Yeah. So
God only knows what happened between 16 and 27. Well, we do know.
Yeah.
He started killing people. But
allegedly, right?
Allegedly.
Okay.
Yeah, there's just a caveat. But so this guy and completely covered in tats. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
What are you trying to say, Doug? Completely on his face and stuff.
I love your tats. We'll go back. We're gonna do another episode next week of Mike's tattoos.
Yes.
But yeah, he that was very. I
always wonder not to derail the conversation, but I always wonder how all these like drug addicts and guys who are like doing all heavy drugs and have all these problems, how they afford all that tattoo work. Like it's like.
Yeah, he has it all over.
Like the time and the money it takes to get tattooed, even if they're not good tattoos, it still takes time. I mean, maybe he just has a buddy that just drew all over him, I guess. But I'm always fascinated where it's like, when I think about how much time and money it takes for my tattoos, and it's like these guys one of my questions, Doug, in the drug circles, when you're a drug dealer and a heavy drug user, does that come with free tattoos? Because that seems to be what's going on. Like there's just a guy in every heroin den that just tattoos everyone when he's high. Like,
but I actually think it's something a little different. When you are in those circles and you have tons of money because you're selling drugs.
Yeah.
Like this guy obviously was selling drugs. So like if he had a lot of income that he couldn't just put in a bank, a lot of people like pimp their rides and things like that where nobody questions where the money comes from.
Yeah.
And maybe a lot of body art was something that he really wanted.
It's just like whatever.
And he was like, I'll spend a shit ton of money on body art because this guy's like covered all the like full legs, full sleeves, full chest, like tattoo his whole from even including his neck.
Yeah.
From his neck all the way to his legs.
Yeah, but he didn't cross the face though. Because I think that like the guys who like go all out and like do like the Gucci man, like the ice cream cone on the face and stuff, like that's like next level. That's like all right, man. Like there's a crazy person, but like
but he had it all the way up here, up his side. So like I'm pointing like people listening will know, but what I'm doing is he had like his chin, everything like from his chin to his ears in all the way down.
Yeah. I just don't understand. Like, I guess that's my other thought is like when you have that much tattoo work, like why would you not get your face tattooed? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. Maybe he felt he was too good looking.
Maybe.
But he, again, like I said, he did post some chilling things on his Faceplace. And he's going by a new Facebook name.
He's still on Facebook. Yeah, this guy's still free. He might be listening to this podcast, right?
No, he is in jail now.
Oh, he's in jail now? Okay.
Yeah, but he posted this really, really a bunch of disturbing things. One was that he posted, I miss your smile. I miss your laugh, your eyes, your hair, the small of your back, your hands, your lips, your goodnight kiss. Wherever you are, I hope it's bliss.
Well, that's better than his other lines about like I've killed people and I'll kill you.
Right.
I'll throw you in the pig pit.
And then he took a picture of a park.
Yeah.
And he goes, "It's here in plain sight."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was another really weird.
See, the thing is though, if he's all high on drugs, like there could just be a lot of things that make sense to just him. Like he could be tripping out. You know what I mean? He could see a dragon in the middle of that park for all we know.
Right. So he right now the only thing they have him on is the destruction of the vehicle.
Yeah.
That's the only thing they can prove.
They can't hold him for that long, right?
No, so they're asking for tips, anybody who can help him. He's on he's being held on $50,000 cash bail only.
Yeah.
Nobody can put up a bond for him.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're saying we haven't caught this guy yet. We don't know what we don't have proof that he has done anything other than burn her car.
Yeah.
Which would seem pretty like compelling circumstantial information, but it's not enough.
Yeah, you need the proof, man.
You need more.
Habeas corpus, Corpus Christi, all that stuff. You need all that stuff.
Corpus Christi. So, yeah, I mean, this guy's crazy.
Bad news. Bad news, man. Bad news.
So they're hoping that he will come. The mother of the first girl that went missing, Kara.
Yeah.
He wants to know, or her mom hopefully wants the police to pressure him on getting information
about her daughter, of course. Well, and you would think that, like, so say this guy dates like 5 chicks and all 5 of them to go missing. The parents of these 5 missing girls, it seems like you would make a club like "Don't date this dude" and follow him around with signs, right? I mean,
exactly.
Like he might not have done it, but if your daughter dates this guy, there's a higher probability she's going to go missing. So,
I completely concur. So, that's kind of where that story is right now.
Yeah. But, and ladies, listen, if you're dating some new guy, find out about the ex's past. I know it's a crunchy conversation to have when you're just trying to get in each other's pants and stuff, but try to take that, half-hour conversation, 10-minute conversation, and just, do you have any crazy people that you dated that I should be aware of?
Right.
As simple as that. Like, nope, I'm clear. Okay, cool. Or, yeah, there's this one guy, Ted. Oh, he's right behind you.
or on the other hand, just do something simple like Google him. And if the guy comes up in relation to, say, a domestic dispute or a missing person, maybe bring that up and say, hey, why'd your girlfriend of 2007 go missing?
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm always, I have friends who start dating, people or they're divorced and they start dating another guy. Or he just got divorced. And like, well, did you find out why they got divorced? Like, I haven't really asked him about that yet. It's like, really? That'd be like the first thing I would ask him. Like, what happened between you and your ex-wife?
Right.
If the guy's not willing to talk about that, I mean, you want to put your cards on the table, man. Like, I don't know. But like I said, Doug, I'm old-fashioned. I'm from the 90s, bro.
So, yeah. And then the next wonderful story that I have for you is another person who they know exactly what he did. His name is Kody Lott. What would you do, say, if, you're roughly out of high school, your girlfriend breaks up with you and is seeing someone else? What would be your next logical thing to do to kind of get over that?
I'm trying to think back when I was just out of high school. Probably go down to Mexico and go crazy for a few days.
I think you did do that.
I did. Yeah, that's what I used to do. Yeah, definitely, man. Rosarito Beach. Woo!
Where's Rosarito?
It's in Baja, California. It's maybe like an hour, if that, south of the border.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So basically, what happens when people go to Mexico, like everyone goes to Tijuana,
right?
And then
and disappears.
Yeah, exactly. And then so like kind of that next step, like after you've gone to Tijuana 100 times in high school, you start going a little bit further down south. You like Puerto Nuevo, then Rosarito, and those are kind of like, they're kind of just like a little bit deeper into Baja. Kind of a little bit more authentic. I mean, this is back. This
maybe
is back,
safer.
I don't know about that. I mean, this is back in the 90s. I think Mexico's a whole different country now.
Right.
You know what I mean? But back in the day. You just go there and party and just kind of hang, surf, eat seafood. It's a little bit more mellow.
So Kody,
what did Kody do?
Kody decided that this all happened in Texas, a tiny place in Texas, and he decided that he would hop in his car, find another girl that he liked, follow her home, and shoot her. And her friend. So he decided that also he's...
Wait. So he went to did he know these girls, or did he just go to a random Hooters and just follow like two girls home?
No, he thought they were cute, but get this, he's 20, they're 13.
Oh,
two
my
13-year-old
God.
girls. So he said that he was arrested. He's being held on $4 million bail bond for aggravated assault.
This just happened?
Yeah. Police think that his father said that he had been diagnosed with bipolar and paranoid schizophrenia.
Yeah.
So that's not good.
Yeah, listen, not to interrupt, Doug, but if you're a parent, okay, and your child, however old they are, is diagnosed, bipolar, schizophrenic, could be could harm other people. Lock up the guns. I mean,
right.
You know what I mean? Like I to me, if I was this guy's parent, I'm as far as I'm concerned, I'm partially responsible.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and granted, this dude is an adult. He's 20 years old, but at the same time, if you're kind of like caring for him, right, and making sure that he's stable, I mean, you got to make sure that those weapons are taken away. I mean, or are locked, or
or that he's getting the care and or.
It's your son. I mean, it's your son. You know what I mean?
Like sure he's getting the help he needs.
Yeah, my kids are 50 and they had those issues. I mean, I'd be there to care for them. That's what a parent does.
Right. So he obviously there was mental health issues that led to him not being able to handle a breakup that he was going through. So he was going through a breakup. He was very angry.
Clearly,
and he told the police he was angry because he didn't have a girlfriend. And then planned on a shooting by talking to the devil.
Yeah,
usually when you talk to the devil,
yeah, it's not a good sign.
It's not a good sign.
I mean, like that. I mean, even like really like religious people that I know who like they'll start saying like, I talked to like
I prayed this
whatever.
out with God.
Yeah, or like it's kind of like, really, are you okay? Like I always ask, like, are you okay?
Right.
Like, I mean, like I know what you're saying, but like, and I know you have that spiritual connection
right.
and stuff, but. Can you also talk to the devil? Because that's the thing. Is like as soon as they can talk to the devil, then like bad things are gonna happen. They're off talking to a tree, talking to Jesus, talking to God. Right. Usually, you just don't want to get in a conversation with them. But as soon as someone can talk to the devil, That's when you know things are going to go haywire. Nothing good is going to come out of it. Like, you sit down next to a guy at a bar. So, what's your name? Ted. What are you doing, Ted? I've been talking to the devil all day. It's like, oh, geez.
Oh, yeah. Let me give you a number of a good psychiatrist.
Yeah, run.
Yeah. Again, so he told the police that he had seen Lauren walking home from school. This is the girl who he shot. And he said he was attracted to her, but he knew she had a boyfriend because he had seen them walking home together. And he was angry because he didn't have a girlfriend and knew that Lauren was with someone else.
This is in his hometown?
Yep.
Maybe that's the rules. Like, everyone, when you graduate high school, you have to move somewhere else.
Right.
Like, you just have to move somewhere else. You can't like, know what the 13-year-olds in your town are doing if you're 20 years old. You should just
no.
You need to go somewhere else, man.
Or if you're thinking about that, it's time to move somewhere else.
It's time to move somewhere else. Oh, man.
Yeah. So,
and it's okay not to have a girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like people need to know that. Like, it's okay.
But
you know?
I think this is the other thing that just boggles my mind is so he was very upset that the local media called the incident senseless because he said he had planned it out.
Yeah. So he's angry with
and he had talked to the devil about it. So it made perfect sense to him.
Yeah. Yeah. The devil told me how to do this. Man,
yeah.
That is, that's an interesting story because obviously, it's horrific what happened to those two young girls. Obviously, this guy has, serious mental problems. And, I mean, he's not even, it doesn't even sound like he's really aware of the severity of what he's done. Like, he's still kind of, in that kind of mental zone where, he's not being understood.
Right. Well, I mean, and then he said something else that also, I mean, not that that's not shocking enough, but he said something else, and I'm going to have to look it up. But
now, if you're this guy's lawyer, don't you just like tape a ball in his mouth and like duct tape it shut? Like, just stop talking.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt, he shouldn't have been talking to anyone. But yeah, that was stunning. And then they went to his house around 3. His someone, a relative of his, an unnamed relative, said that they saw him go out to the car, his family car, and then go up carrying something in a bag or a blanket, put it in the house, and then go back to the car and take off. So what it was is his dad's rifle, and he didn't want his dad to know that he had taken the rifle because he was afraid they would suspect him.
Yeah. It's called the gun lock, people. It's called the gun safe.
Yeah, so his dad had a legal weapon. It's not like this guy went out and got some.
But his dad will be liable for that.
Really?
He's got to be. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Texas is probably a little different, but I mean, I in California, if you leave guns laying around and a crime happens, or like a kid, you as the gun owner are liable.
Right.
I mean, that's just the way of it. That's called the responsibility of owning a firearm.
Yeah.
Secure it.
Yeah. So
secure it, man.
It should have been locked up.
But it wasn't. And
but
now we have a tragedy.
Right.
Crazy.
So yeah. So he had an ex-girlfriend. Her ex-girlfriend, or his ex-girlfriend, had said that he once wrapped a seatbelt around her throat and then also pushed her down the stairs. Now, I don't know if he wrapped the seatbelt around her throat and then pushed her down the stairs, but either way, she said she was in a 2-year relationship with him, of which the second year was extremely abusive, including several times he would just stop the car and slam her head into the dashboard.
Jesus. He's kind of like that guy in Death Proof, that Quentin Tarantino movie, where he drives around and like gets in head-on collisions with the passengers.
Ooh.
You ever seen that movie? Super crazy. Kurt Russell.
Was that? Oh, okay.
The concept of the movie is that he uses his car as the murder weapon. So he basically is a stuntman. So he has like all his side of the car all braced up, like with crash bars and stuff, and then the passenger seat's just like a normal passenger seat.
Right.
So he picks up like a girl, and then would drive into another car.
Oh fuck.
And he'd go to the hospital, but she would die. And then that's how he killed people, like by getting in head-on collisions.
I just remember some movie where they reenacted the James Dean car accident, and I don't know if that was the same one.
No. Maybe, I don't know.
But the guy like reenacts it, and when he reenacts it, the whole purpose, he wants to die in the car wreck.
No, it's not the same movie.
Okay.
But that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, so I don't know what that one was. Probably another great.
This could be like a whole other podcast, like Mike and Doug don't know their movies.
Yeah, exactly. Check out the movie that Mike and Doug don't know.
Yeah.
Or write us about it, and then we'll have another corrections arena. But so this other woman is now engaged. She has a young child, and just before this, he texted her and said that he was going to catch them out and make them wreck their vehicles and then kill and torture us.
Jesus.
Yeah.
He texted that?
Yeah. He said, he was going to kidnap all three of them and torture my son and I in front of her fiance. He said his entire life, all he wanted to do was hurt people. And he wanted to hurt people because he was mad, sad, or whatever.
If you got a text from, like, if you're out on a date, Doug,
mm-hmm.
Or with a girlfriend or whatever, and all of a sudden, like, you're eating dinner, and she's like, I got a text. Oh God, it's from Brad, my ex-boyfriend. What does it say? Oh, you don't want to see it. No, let me see it. She passes the phone to you, and you read that.
Oh, dude, run.
Oh my God. I mean, you just kind of look at her and go, I think this relationship's over.
Yeah,
I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, that's when you let the police know that they need to keep a close eye on this guy. But even we talked about that case last week where the police were actually actively supposed to be watching the guy.
Yeah.
And they didn't, and he killed someone.
I mean, you threaten someone's kid, it's like someone threatens your kids, it's like you're basically like the gloves are coming off, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
another, not to say that this is the case for everyone, but he had theories all over his Facebook page, which were like Illuminati conspiracy theories, but including ones about mass murders.
That they're government agents or the devil makes them do it. I mean, like what,
Yeah, he said nearly in every mass shooting in the last 20 years, every one of them share one thing in common, and it wasn't weapons. So basically saying that they were like controlled by.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So maybe he thinks that the devil talked to them. So the devil talked to him.
Yeah.
So he had a lower calling. Lower calling.
I don't know. Yeah. No, man. That's nuts.
Yeah. Initially, the police were really concerned because they got a tip that this guy was doing the shootings because of white supremacy.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think maybe one of the
because it's Texas.
No.
It's always a possibility.
We love Texas, and we have nothing against, especially any podcast listeners.
I do like Texas.
Yeah.
No, that's just a lame joke. That's a bad joke.
Yeah, but yeah. So apparently one of the girls was African American, so they thought maybe he didn't like her hanging out, something of that nature. But no, it wasn't the case at all. So the whole community rallied around her mom and her family. But the worst part is this was just like an average teenage girl. Like she was.
Yeah. I mean, that's like the whole other side of the story is just horrible. Two 13-year-old girls murdered for absolutely no reason. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that it's really hard to wrap your brain around and make sense of. And, I mean, it's horrific, man. Thanks, Doug.
I'm glad that I could bring a light subject to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have one more story, and we can go in two directions. Which direction do you want to hear? Do you want to hear about another wonderful murder, or do you want to hear about a reality TV show that ends up with the husband and getting arrested for child rape.
Man,
I know.
This is tough, dude.
I figured this was the time
Murder or child. I think.
Let's make my pick.
Yeah, I think I'll go. I think I'll go murder. To be honest with you. Yeah,
You'd rather.
I think I'll hear murder.
Okay, so this is
because yeah, I think I'll go for murder.
Yeah. Okay. Totally understandable. So
is it murder of a child though?
No.
Okay.
It is not. So this is I think a little bit more of a it's a kind of why who done it kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
I'm good at this stuff, Doug.
Yeah. So there's this woman, Chancey Poynter, and her husband Michael Garza.
I'm getting
or her and this guy Michael Garza, and the person murdered was her husband Robert Poynter.
So Robert and Chancey were man and wife.
Yeah, Chancey.
And then Michael,
or Chancey.
I'll call it Chancey.
Yeah.
And then Michael is the suspect.
Yeah, he's the suspect.
Okay.
So she apparently was found walking down the road, flagging down cars, and saying that her husband had been shot. And she flagged down a car. The police came, and they said there was, quote, suspicious and conflicting information from the onset. So it just didn't. They couldn't quite make sense.
She's like, my husband just got shot. Someone did, and she has like a gun in her hand. That kind of stuff. Like,
it was very confusing.
Yeah.
They won't say why it was confusing. And again, this happened on Friday.
Okay.
So it's very unclear on exactly what happened.
Okay.
But they found the husband in the car, Robert in the car, and he obviously had a gunshot wound to his head. When they arrested her, they found things on the scene that suggested there was someone else there. So they knew it probably wasn't her who committed the murder, but they won't tell what the story was.
Yeah, because this is such breaking news. They don't want to give out any of the evidence and take the jury.
So
okay, gotcha.
So this guy, Michael, apparently just they searched for him all over, but he lived in wooded areas.
Of course, yeah.
So he's kind of, from what
he's like Sling Blade.
Yeah. So he kind of, I guess, and let me see exactly where this was. Here, another Texas, which is unfortunate.
We're not picking on Texas.
We're not picking on Texas. In fact, obviously, I just looked that it was Texas. Yeah. But this guy was, just apparently in the woods of Texas. They started searching for him, and they found him in Quinlan, Texas.
Like in the woods,
I guess
up a
in
tree,
the woods.
Okay.
And then he was booked into jail in Hunt County.
See, this is the thing: is that if you live out in the woods and you live in a tree, and something like this happens, it just seems suspect to normal people. It seems like you're hiding in the woods, even though that's just where you live. You know what I'm talking about? This guy could be like a mountain man, and he just doesn't really even have a house. But as soon as you're a murder suspect, and then you run into the woods to go to where you live, you seem like you're running away,
right?
Because you're running away from where most people live. So you know what I'm talking about?
And the other thing is, other than a connection on Facebook, or they say social media, there was no known link between the two of them.
So he had some Wi-Fi out in the woods then.
Yeah, apparently he had Wi-Fi.
In his shrub that he lived in.
Right.
Huh.
So, so guess this guy, Robert, was a captain and beloved member of the University Park Fire Department. He also volunteered in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina.
Oh, man. So this guy's like a local hero.
Yeah. 18-year veteran.
Jesus.
And he was promoted. He was now captain of that department. But before, in 2002, he was promoted to lieutenant and everyone wanted like the best for him.
Yeah. So now was Robert? How was Robert and Chancey's relationship? That's like the go-to thing right there, right?
Well, they had just returned from a trip from Mexico.
So they're getting along pretty good.
According to the neighbors said like what we always hear. I'm
Happy
sad.
couple.
Yeah. The neighbor said, I'm sad. I'm beside myself. I can't believe because they were so fabulously nice. I can't believe this happened to them.
So, Doug, listen, what I'm getting here is that Chancey and Robert, normal couple, happy relationship, somehow randomly this guy Michael shoots Robert in the head. Chancey flags somebody down. And, I mean, it sounds pretty clear cut. Like, she lost a great husband. This guy, Michael, is the primary suspect. So where do things go wacky here?
Well, they won't say. I mean, it's, again, Heavy is a pretty breaking news site.
Yeah.
There's not a lot more information on this.
It seems pretty clear cut.
It seems clear cut. Maybe
always blame the guy out in the woods.
Right. Always blame the guy in the woods. It's either A, she was messaging back and forth with this guy. The police don't want to disclose any information at this time because they're still investigating.
Yeah.
But they have enough information that they feel.
Do you think it's possible that like the police think it's Chancey, and then are just like putting all this information about like Michael, and then Michael's really like not even he's just kind of cooperating with the police,
right?
And they're like we're gonna put about a bunch of misinformation out there that's gonna make Chancey like think she got away with it and then incriminate herself somehow.
Well,
do they do that kind of stuff?
We can keep calling her Chancey.
Yeah.
I think it's actually
what's her name?
Chancey.
Chancey? Okay.
Yeah, so Chancey, but anyway, regardless of whatever, she gave so many conflicting facts. But again, remember, her husband was just murdered.
That's what I mean,
yeah.
man. I mean, like, you got to put yourself in her shoes. Something horrific happens like that, you're probably just so overwhelmed with grief and emotion and fear and anger and I mean, you're right. I mean, it's who can put themselves in those shoes. You know what I mean, like you'd probably be saying all kinds of weird stuff too. Like,
Well, I've seen so many of those, forensic files and crime drama shows where they have this guy. They're 99% sure this one guy did it, and they're like, because his story just didn't make sense. All of these things, and then this other guy is totally found guilty of it, and this other guy was like, "Look, I was in shock. I didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I didn't do it, but I kept saying I didn't do it. But, things happened very quickly. I don't know, what am I supposed to do?"
Or what if you're just like a real literal dude? And you're like, I did do it. Like, I had something to do with it because you believe in like the butterfly effect.
Right.
You believe that we're all interconnected and everything we do affects other people. Well, in a way, I am responsible for that because, I cut them off at that stoplight, and then he crashed in the tree and died. So, if I had stopped at that stop sign, maybe,
But Mike, if I on my way home, if I get in some sort of accident or something of that nature,
my fault.
Don't go in and confess.
Yeah. It's my fault.
Like,
I killed Doug because we talked 5 minutes longer than we should have. We should have left 5 minutes early.
If I just hung a minute longer.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, so I don't know. They're still trying to figure it out, but something about the information that they gave made them extremely suspicious, enough so that they're arresting her.
Yeah.
So usually if it's something inconsequential, they don't arrest you. But if they have suspicion, like this other guy, he wasn't arrested on that 2007 charge.
Yeah.
But they had so much information on him. It seemed.
Yeah. I'm not really into throwing people in jail. It's not my nature. I believe in freedom, and I think that people can work through things without like heavy duty incarceration. But sometimes in situations like this, maybe it's better just to arrest everybody. Like just throw everyone in there and be like, all right, you're all gonna stay in jail till we figure this out.
Well, they have booked her on conspiracy to commit murder.
Yeah.
And they have a little child together. So that's
the only thing I gotta say, since we don't really know too many facts about this case, is imagine this poor woman if she's not involved with this. She just lost her husband. She's got a child, and now she's in jail being accused for a crime she didn't commit.
Right.
Ugh.
That's
right. That's also sucky.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wow.
Glad
So
I'm
that's
here.
a happy, uplifting story for you.
That's right, Doug. Well, thank you, man. That was. Let's see. We had a disappearance and 2 murders.
Yeah.
That's
I kind of fell back into the rut from before.
Yeah.
Like the last one was a little bit more
guesty.
So, maybe next time I'll try and find something a little bit, again, I blame Heavy. Heavy is my go-to source on this one.
There you go.
So these were what they had.
It's good
available.
that you give your source. It gives legitimacy to this podcast.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So that's good. Heavy, thank you for having a website.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the end of We Vomit Rainbows, episode number 6.
Episode number 6. Make sure you follow us on social media, Twitter, the Instagram.
And
we're not doing Facebook, are we?
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
Right, and we're We Vomit Rainbows on all of those things.
Like I said, Instagram,
and then we're
Twitter, Facebook, all those.
And we're vomitingrainbows.com.
That's right.
And so please rate us, comment, DM us, hopefully nice, pleasant things. And we look forward to having you tune in next time.
Thanks for listening.